All right. Hello, hello. Welcome to Transit Talk with Rebecca and
Janelle. I don't know if we'll have our separate podcast by the time this comes out, but that's exciting, guys.
true.
We're going to be splitting this off into its own podcast, probably called Transit Talk with Rebecca and Janelle, or Janelle and Rebecca, however it goes. So either you're listening to us there, or you're listening to us on the channel of Curiosity or Chatting Human Design, whatever you're listening. So that's awesome. Welcome to Transit Talk. Y'all don't know what the transits are in human design. It's basically the universal energy that we are all experiencing and experimenting with at this time. We focus on the personality sun and earth gates, which change every 5.7 days. And this is just energy you can observe, do something with it if you want to, or not. Have compassion with yourself around it always. Yeah, so here we go. You ready?
Ready.
Okay, so we'll start with the personality sun, which is going to be gate 56. And this is in the throat. And this is a gate close to my heart and Rebecca's as well, because we both have channel 1156. So we have defined 56 in our chart. Is yours conscious, or what is yours?
It is conscious, and it's my north node. So it's a pretty big energy for me.
Mine is unconscious Mars.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's why I think sometimes I don't trust my stories, or I don't think I have people want to hear what I have to say, because it's an unconscious thing, you know? So this gate 56 is sometimes referred to as the gate of the wanderer. And this is the part of the energy that gives Rebecca and I the experience behind the stories that we tell. We share in a way that is, oh, you'll never believe what happened, or this is what happened. And it's very much, I had this experience. This is how it went for me. And I've learned that, to me, that feels like the best and most genuine way to share is when I want to tell somebody something. I start it like that. Well, this is how it happened for me. Or when I did this, this is what happened. I don't just go, oh, this is how it happens when you do this, because I don't know how it's going to happen for them. But when I speak from a place of my heart and like, oh, I actually went through this experience, it feels very correct, you know? So this energy is about broadening your horizons. A lot of times people with this energy enjoy travel. I'm not one of those people. But my environment arrow also points to the left, I think, whichever one that, yeah, to the left. It's the only one that goes left. So it's kind of interesting to me that I like my environments safe and comfortable, and I don't like to change them. But I do like to see new things in my community. I don't generally like to travel far, but like going to the mountains of Colorado, or like trying a new trail, or when John goes, hey, let's go here, I'm like, yeah, that sounds fun. That is like safe exploration for me. I think it's because of my survival view too. It's like, okay, is this thing safe? Yes, then it can be fun too. Hooray. And so I think that that's still part of the traveling part, but I know that a lot of people with this energy just really enjoy experiences, and their life is experience driven. And when you talk to people about, oh, well, when you buy things, like, do you want things or do you want experiences? I've always wanted experiences. So I totally get that energy. How about you?
Yeah, I can relate to that energy. And it's just funny when you're talking about it, like, it seems just very 3-line. So
right?
Add to the fact that we have the 3-line energy. So yeah, all of my teachings basically come from my own thing. It's like, well, here's what happened with me, and so here's how I understand it. Take it or leave it. Like, yeah. That's how I teach.
And it takes a lot of pressure off of us, because I don't feel like I have to have the answer, capital THE. I have my answer, and that's good enough for me right now. And my ideas and answers might change depending on what I learn. But this is all about, like you said, collecting personal encounters and then sharing them with people. It helps us to make sense of the experience. It's very mental projector talking it out. Like, oh, I had a great experience and I'm going to share it with this person. Oh, wow, I didn't realize how great this was or how cool this piece was until I saw their face when I told them the story. And they were like, whoa. And we're like, oh, this was really cool. It wasn't just me. Like, so I think it really helps make sense of our experiences and validate them for what they are to us, you know, when we share stuff with other people. This energy can also cause you to embellish a little bit on your stories because you want them to be fun and exciting. I wouldn't say lie because I am a terrible liar. So I don't think it really, even if I wasn't a terrible liar, I don't think it really has to do with lying. I think it's more you get excited to tell someone the story, and as you're saying it, this one part you build up a little bit more, and it just keeps coming out, and you're like, oh well, that was a little bit more exciting than it actually happened, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. But also with this energy, you can tell the flip side. So when other people are embellishing their stories or have like a weak argument, you can kind of be like, oh, I see that. I see that there because I do that same thing. So yeah, this energy is really fun and it's a throat energy. So it might cause you to want to talk more during this time, want to share more things about your life. And maybe you start telling some tall tales because it's fun and exciting. To me, this energy is very, I don't know what the word is. I don't feel like anything that you do with it really hurts anyone on the outside. Like, I guess if you embellish the story too much and someone like believed that they could fly and jumped off a roof or something, but I think it's more about collecting experiences. And sometimes this energy can make you, what's the word I'm looking for? Not anxious, but like you want to get up and keep and do new things. You don't want to be in the same spot all the time. You want new stuff to happen. So be conscientious of that and be kind to yourself when you're like, I'm bored of this. I want something new. I'm bored with this. I need something new. During this time, you might find yourself getting really bored with stuff and just wanting to move on and have new, fresh experiences, just because that's what this energy is about. So go have new, fresh experiences, but don't get mad at yourself if you have FOMO and you're like, oh, I want to do this and this and this and this, and I can't do it. Just
yeah. Well, and when we look at the gift is enrichment and the shadow is distraction. So again, that plays into the storyteller and the teacher. You know, an enriching story can be such a beautiful thing. But if you're just distracted and you're just looking for whatever story, then
yeah,
you know, that's not going to be great.
I totally agree. Yeah.
One thing, I don't know if you've played with this, but you know how each gate has its own voice in the throat, and then this I believe, and I used to never talk about what I believed because I thought nobody cared and it wasn't a strong enough thing to talk about. But once I started playing with this, and it's like something shifted and I realized, oh, I'm here to share what I believe. And if people don't resonate with it, then they're just not my people and it's fine. And it started to empower me more. Did you experience that?
I've looked at those exact words and I go, I'm afraid to say that because then I just named a belief that I have and I have to always have that belief. I can't go back. I can't change it or shift it. I just named it and I said it out loud by saying I believe. So this person that I'm talking to is going to think that this is always what I think. Do I want them to think that? Do I think that? I overthink city, you know, it's just very like, I have this idea that if I say things or if I am things, it's very permanent. So I think I will experiment with this, but in the back of my mind, be like, I believe yada, 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 yada right now. Like in this moment, this is what I believe. And that can change if I decide to change it. But I think I will practice that. Because like you said, the saying I believe feels very like, I'm telling you something that I will never change in my life. This is a rigid belief. And it will never change because that's who I am. But I forget that as undefined identities, like we don't have specific things that we are all the time. And so I will practice with it.
And with the 3-line stuff, like we're constantly learning and growing. So
Can you believe I have so much 3-line energy, but I also have this like, no, it has to be this way forever. Like I can't like pull these things apart, you know?
Yes. I mean, I feel like that goes hand in hand because I know I did that before too, where it's like I got to figure out who I am right now and like all this stuff. And then perfection is kind of part of the shadow of the 3-line, right?
It's a big shadow of the 3-line, which
Yeah.
sucks because like we work so hard to have it be perfect when that's not supposed to be how it is at all. Like that's not how we learn. That's not how we grow. That's not how we get our best
No.
stuff, is from it working out the first time. And
And the
it's
more
just
I
such
try
a,
to make things perfect, the worse it is,
well,
honestly.
you have the one line in front. So you're always going to have that. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I need more to be ready.
Yeah.
But again, that's another thing where it's like, you just have to not listen to that voice all the time. Like, it's like, okay, I guess I'm not ready, but here we go anyway.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I love about the 1-3 is you can kind of do that. Go, I guess I'm not ready, but here goes nothing.
That's basically it. I actually wrote that. Someone messaged me and asked about, they're like, would you be open to creating this offer? And I'm like, well, one line says, I don't like, why would you even ask me? My 3 lines like, yeah, sounds fun.
Sure, why not? Right? That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So that's some fun energy. Then we have the personality earth, which is in the root again. It's gate 60, which is a part of kind of some big energy. It's part of a format channel in human design. And format channels are just really strong channels that override a lot of your energy. So to me, this gate on its own is probably pretty strong and might overshadow some of the energy that you have all the time, just because it's a big one. It's the 60. This is also in Pluto right now, and it will be in Pluto for, I don't know, over a year, forever and ever.
Yeah.
And it's the energy of limitation. This is a really interesting gate to me, because a lot of times to me, when I read about the gates, they all sound very like, oh, this is exciting energy to experiment with. Oh, this is going to be really cool. And when you read limitation, you're like, oh, so I have limits. There's things that I cannot do. Thanks, human design. But that's really what it is. It's about the energy of knowing your limitations, of playing the cards that you were dealt, of taking lemons and making them into lemonade. Basically, making the best of a shitty situation is this energy. It's knowing that we are not capable of doing everything that has ever been done in this world. We're not superheroes. We're not, you know, we can't do it all. And we can't fly. We can't, I don't know. There's tons of stuff we can't do. And people don't like to talk about that. People don't like to think about that, because we don't want to focus on what we can do, which, yes, very positive. I get that. I focus on what I can do all the time. But I think this energies can be helpful when you get to a place where you want to do all the things, or for instance, when you're building a business, or you're building a new venture or something that you want to put out in the world, and you're like, oh, well, I'm going to build the website, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this thing, and I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to figure out I'm going to do this thing. And you get into this place of overwhelm because you are going to do it all. And I think a lot of people get in this energy of, I'm just going to do it all myself because it's easier that way. This energy says, hey, it would actually be easier if you admitted that you don't know how to build a website, or if you admitted that you don't want to make visual content or audio content or whatever, but you can outsource those things if you can. Or realize that maybe this is the best that your website's going to look, and you're just going to leave it there for now and work on this other thing. And this isn't saying like we're just going to sit there and go, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that and woe is me. It's more focus on what you can do instead of trying to do it all. That's how I feel about this energy. I actually like this energy as a root energy, because it's still pressure. It's the pressure to accept your limitations. But I feel okay with that pressure. I'm like, oh, pressure to accept the stuff that I can't do. Great. I'll do that.
Yeah, I feel like it balances out the undefined root that's like yelling. And I feel 60 almost feels like the mom of the root that's like, Okay,
Hey,
let's look at this.
you're good enough.
Yeah.
Hey, good try. Like, it's just very like you said, the pressure is very like, oh, well, you didn't like that thing anyway. But I think what it is the pressure to say, hey, get help, ask for help, the pressure to ask for help. There's a lot of this in their heart center too, because you're trying to prove who you are. But to me, this comes around as like the pressure to say, oh, I don't want to do this thing. I don't want to spend my energy on this thing. I can't, it just doesn't, I don't want to. So I'm going to give it to somebody else. And that's what I think is the thing to learn here. And when you do that, when you accept that you're not here to do it all, and you shift your focus to the things that are important to you, exciting to you. They can even be big things that are like, oh, I don't know if I can achieve all this, but I'm going to try because I'm really excited. It gives you the freedom to evolve and to change who you are and to gain new things and to maybe press your limitations a little bit and expand them. But you have to accept that they're there. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to just do everything. It's cool. It's already done. I mean, unless you're a splenic manifester, then
Right.
good for you. But
or
yeah, this
manifester.
right. This is just, like I said, this is kind of, like you said, it's a root energy, but it's not as like, go. It's more like, wait, are you sure you want to do that thing? Yeah,
because
so
the gift is realism, so it's like being realistic.
yes,
And the shadow is limitation. So I could totally see this where I would feel sad, like, oh, I have these limitations, but if I just put my mind to it, then I can bust through limitations. Or I could be realistic, like you said, and say, you know what, yes, I 100% could figure out how to build a website because I know I'm smart enough, but I don't really have the energy for that. And I'd rather go do this thing and let somebody else do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, real acceptance of the things, like you said, that you'd rather spend your energy on. Because like you said, a lot of the limitations aren't really limitations. It's just, do I want to spend my energy on that thing? Am I interested in that thing? Mm-hmm. This might get a lot of generators and manifesting generators because you guys want to say yes to it all. So pay attention to the times when you really are saying yes because you just want to do the thing and be like, look, I can do all these things because I have all the energy. And you asked me, so I'm going to say yes. I've told you this before, but I'm a no person. I say a lot of no. I've never had a problem with no, and I've never been an over yes person. It's not even anything that I think about because I don't. If anything, I'm like, you need to say yes more. So I go the other way with it. And my husband makes fun of me all the time too. We'll be in like a home design store and he'll be like, do you like this thing? And then from the aisle, I won't say anything. All I hear is no. And I'm like, and I'll come around and I'll be like, yeah, no. And it's like a running joke that I say no a lot, but I think it's a gift and a curse because I think it's really helpful because I don't overextend myself, but I tend to underextend myself. I tend to not say yes to things and not do social things and things that I think are going to take my energy because in my head, I'm like, well, is this going to be worth it or not? I don't know because I haven't done it yet. So should I waste my energy on this thing? But as a third line, I should be saying yes a little bit more just because experimentation is, I think, a good and healthy part of our process. So yeah, be compassionate with yourself with this energy. If you start to be about your limitations and focus on the things that are expansions for you and things that are important to you, and leave the stuff that you think you should do or want to do or have covered. Just leave it. Who cares?
Yeah. Observe, don't judge. And then I love listening to the gifts of each one. So this one is realism, and then the 56 is enrichment. So it's like realistic enrichment for this week. That sounds cool.
Right? That does sound very cool. And you also said something before we came on that we're in a new sign, right? A new thing, Leo?
Yes. So
we're somewhere.
These two gates are fun because they're on the cusp of two signs. And so we start gate 56 in Cancer, and then we end gate 56 in Leo. So it transitions during this time. And likewise with 60, it starts in Capricorn and then transitions to Aquarius. So we're moving into Leo Aquarius season, which is fun. So Cancer is more emotional, more like, if you think of the crab, it's like the hard shell outside to like protect the gushy middle that just
That's the only reason I know what a Cancer, what they're
yeah. And so we're moving to Leo to to more exuberance. You know, we got the fire sign, and it's more about pleasure and creativity with Leo, and it's about nurturing your own pleasure and creativity. You know,
awesome.
And then we're kind of grounded by the Aquarius energy that is more humanitarian. So like Leo is vibing with their own relationships and shine in the light, you know, it's related to the sun. So it's very like, look at me, Hollywood, but it also can be very childlike and fun. And then the Aquarian is kind of grounding it during this time where it's a little more impersonal. They care more about the collective than they are focused on their relationships. So
that's so cool.
It's interesting to think about it that way.
Yeah, and I've learned something new as always. So thanks y'all for listening. This was the transits for this week, and if you had a good time, we'll be here every week, either on our own podcast or eventually on Transit Talk Togetherness.
Yes.
But we don't know when that's going to happen because we're playing this stuff by ear.
We are experimenting.
Exactly. So have a good day, y'all.
Yeah, have a good day. Thanks so much.